Welcome to a new feature here on STLSportsPage.com. This is Rob Raines reporting from Scottsdale, Arizona, at the Arizona Fall League. We're going to start doing some of these little podcasts, hopefully weekly during the off season, to kind of keep everybody up to date on what's going on with the Cardinals and what we're up to here at STLSportsPage.com. Appreciate you tuning in to the inaugural edition of this show. We're coming to you, as I mentioned, from Scottsdale. We're out here covering the Arizona Fall League, writing some stories about some of the Cardinal prospects who are out here. And kind of a fun trip for us because our family was here in 1995. I was teaching at Arizona State University on a grant from the Freedom Forum, and we ended up coming to a lot of the Fall League games. That was actually the second year of the Arizona Fall League here in Scottsdale, so spent a lot of time here. And kids were young, and they got to chase down foul balls and Everett stands. So happy memories of being back here at Scottsdale Stadium. And it's been a fun few days here to see some of the Cardinal prospects. You're going to read about some of them coming up in some stories here on the site in the next couple of weeks. We'll spread them out a little bit. But I had a chance to talk to Nicola Roby, one of the Cardinals' new pitchers that they acquired from Texas in the Jordan Montgomery trade. He's off to a good start down here. His elbow and shoulder are both feeling fine. So he pitched on Tuesday night here in Arizona and gave up. Struck out the side in the first inning, then gave up a couple of runs in the second inning, but ended up with 6 strikeouts in his 3 innings of work. So he's happy with his progress. I think you'll see him coming along in spring training and be in spring training and have a chance to press the Cardinals then, and we'll see how much he progresses. Well, whether he starts at AA or AAA next year is still to be determined, but I think he's definitely on the Cardinals' radar for the future. Cooper Jerpy also is here, trying to make up for some lost time at the injuries that he suffered this summer while pitching in Peoria. It was an elbow injury, but it was not Tommy John, so he's thankful for that. He's back pitching and says he's healthy, so he's coming along as well, encouraged by his progress. Then the third guy, of course, is a guy that everybody in Cardinal Nation is becoming familiar with, Victor Scott II, this center fielder who's tied for the minor league lead in stolen bases this year. We've got an interesting feature story coming up about him here in the next couple of weeks about some mentoring he's getting from a former Cardinal player and his friendship with the guy that he actually tied for the minor league stolen base that season high this year, 94, Chandler Simpson, who plays for the Tampa Bay Rays organization, but he and Victor were teammates for a couple of summers in summer ball while they were in college. So we'll talk about their relationship and kind of how that motivates both of them to be successful, as well as some other news and notes out here from Arizona. So updating you on a couple other things going on in Cardinal Nation here. That, of course, the Gold Glove finalists were announced on Wednesday. Cardinals, remember, it wasn't that long ago, won 5 Gold Gloves, the record for the most Gold Gloves in one season. They only had 1 finalist named on Wednesday for one of their awards. Tommy Edman was named one of the 3 finalists for the Utility Player Award. It was a tough competition, though. Sung Kim from the Padres and Mookie Betts from the Dodgers will be the other 2 going for that award. They'll be announced in early November. But no, big news is that Nolan Arenado was not a finalist for the third base award, so his streak of winning 10 consecutive Gold Gloves every year that he's been in the major leagues is over. So that's he had a disappointing first half of the season defensively. I thought he played much better in the second half, but apparently it wasn't enough to get him into the top 3. And again, no other Cardinal was named a finalist at any of the other positions. Lars Nootbaar was in the news on Wednesday. He and Nolan Arenado actually are on a trip to Japan, and they happened to be at a ball game that Mr. Yamamoto was pitching in the playoffs for the Japanese League. He's, of course, one of the big free agent pitchers that everybody's talking about and thinking the Cardinals might be in the running for here at some point when the free agent period begins. So Nootbaar and Yamamoto became friends last year during the World Baseball Classic. They were both on the Japanese team that won the WBC championship. So maybe he's over there doing some recruiting and some pitching for the Cardinals to get them interested, because I know the team is interested in Yamamoto. Sorry, I got to take a drink here. Now, the other news that we're monitoring a little bit concerns Yadier Molina. Of course, there's been a couple of reports that one in the Spanish newspaper in Puerto Rico that he has had some conversations with the Cardinals about a future role in the organization, maybe on the coaching staff, maybe on an advisor position, something like that. So we'll be monitoring that for you to see what kind of development there. The Cardinals have not made any announcement about changes to their coaching staff. They, of course, canceled their postseason press conference. They said they didn't have anything to announce. So I still expect them to make some kind of news announcements about the future of the current coaches, and if they're going to be adding some people to the personnel to that staff here at some point, probably after the World Series. Of course, the thing we're waiting on, the Cardinals are waiting on, all the Cardinal fans are waiting on, is to see how their pursuit of free agent pitchers goes. That free agent signing period, just for the dates involved, will be starting 5 days after the end of the World Series, is when players are eligible to start signing with teams as free agents. So, interest, of course, in Sonny Gray. We'll probably have interest in Aaron Nola, depending on how the finances go. I'm sure they'll have conversations again about Jordan Montgomery returning as well. But we'll just have to see how that market develops and how quickly the Cardinals want to strike. Other upcoming dates to be aware of as the Cardinals begin kind of the off-season move. Early November will be the general managers meetings, actually right here in Scottsdale. And there'll be some groundwork laid for possible trades there. And then followed up by the middle of November is the deadline for offering contracts to players who are eligible for arbitration. Cardinals actually have 10 of those guys this year, so there'll be some decisions there about whether you're going to non-tender a guy, not offer him that contract, or if you're going to make those offers at that deadline time. And then, of course, the Rule 5 draft will be coming up in December at the winter meetings. They'll be in Houston, and then that'll be another way to kind of augment the roster a little bit. One of the most interesting things about the Rule 5, or about the December winter meetings this year, will be the Cardinals will be involved in the draft lottery for the first time. And that's because they had the 5th worst record in the major league. So one, I guess, benefit, if you want to look at it that way, from doing that is they will have a 10% chance of getting the number 1 overall pick in the draft next year. Cardinals have never picked in the history of the draft, started in 1965. Cardinals have never picked first or second in the draft. Their highest ever pick was number 3. So the first 6 picks in that draft will be determined by lottery based on the teams that did not qualify for the playoffs. It goes in kind of a descending order. The top 3 worst records, if you want to look at it that way, is the top will have a 16% chance of getting the number 1 pick, followed by the clubs that reverse order of the standings down to just a minuscule percentage for the teams that were like 15th, 16th, and 17th, but still did not make the playoffs. So after those first 6 picks are determined, if the Cardinals don't get one of those 6 picks through the lottery, then the rest of the 7th or 18 picks will be determined based on the reverse order of the standings. So I suspect if the Cardinals aren't in that top 6, they will still be somewhere in the 7, 8, 9 range. They should have at least a top 10 pick in the draft next year. So, and that pick is protected. So even if the Cardinals were to go out and sign a free agent that involves compensation, they would not lose their first round pick. They would lose their pick in the 2nd round. So those are all things to watch for coming up here in the next few months. So appreciate you tuning in, and hopefully you've enjoyed this little podcast. And again, we're going to try to keep these going on a regular basis here to keep you interested and tell you what we're doing here on STLSportsPage.com, as well as what's going on with the Cardinals. This is Rob Raines reporting, STLSportsPage.com from Scottsdale, Arizona.